Welcome back to our Beyond the Buzzer internal series. It's 9:30 p.m. in Jordan, 10:30 p.m. in Dubai, and 10:30 a.m. in LA, where Nico's calling from. Before we talk hoops, Nico, you're in LA, close to the action. How's everything going? How's your family? How's Tabby? How's her family?
It's sorry, all those different times the podcast has gone really global. It's it's like one of those clocks in like a hotel business center where it's like every different.
We got to add a European zone.
We got out of
Soon enough.
European zone. I don't know what's expanding quicker, the NBA or this podcast. I don't know. But I don't know. Honestly, switching gears, it's not great here right now. But thankfully, the winds have sort of become a little tamer, and the fire department is getting a lot of support from the community, and things are getting a lot better. And obviously, it's never nice to go through like such a tragedy, and so many people lose their homes. But I think it's really brought the city together, which is nice to see in the midst of a tragedy. But yeah, it's never nice to see people losing their homes, in any place.
Sam, you spent some time in LA. Is what's happening close to where you were raised at all, or no?
It's about 35 minutes away from Irvine, but it's sad to see. I mean, a lot of people lost their homes. It's definitely not fun, and you don't want to see that and you don't want to wish that on nobody. But it's crazy. LA will always recover. LA been through a lot, as we've seen in the past years, decades, and I think the people will gather and they'll get through this.
Well, we're definitely going to speak about LA in a basketball sense, but the hot topic right now is NBA trade deadline approaching. Two names that have been thrown around the block a lot at the moment are De'Aaron Fox and Jimmy Butler. I'm going to start with you, Sam, as a coach. I want to talk about De'Aaron Fox first. So, a couple games ago, the big talk around the NBA was that he was definitely going to leave Sacramento. Coach gets fired. They've now won 7 of their last 8, I believe. He's playing well, and they're looking like a playoff team again. What's it like in an NBA arena, in an NBA franchise, when a new coach comes in, gives the team a new bounce? And with that in mind, do you think De'Aaron ends up staying beyond the deadline, or will he still leave?
I think he'll be staying. I don't see him going anywhere. I think he has the keys to the franchise, and the owner loves him. I think he's staying. And you could tell the owner chose the players over the head coach because he literally fired him on his way to the airplane. Like, that's how you could tell the owner and the management chose the players over the coach. You don't do any coach like that. I mean, you don't want to see any coach get fired, and of course we get hired to get fired, but you shouldn't do them like that. And obviously they needed to change, but that's not the way you go by business. But obviously they wanted that change, and I'm sure De'Aaron Fox probably signed off on that. There's some kind of miscommunication going on between, I believe, the head coach and the players. Something wasn't connecting. And for the management to go ahead and step in and make such a crazy move after you just gave them this summer a 3-year extension, you just paid them, and fire them this way, it's definitely deeper than that.
It's funny. I don't think De'Aaron Fox is doing his career any favors by staying in Sacramento. It's no disrespect to the team they have. Malik Monk is a hooper. Domantas Sabonis is a fucking baller, and he's a stud, honestly. Does a bit of everything, doesn't get enough credit. But I don't see them competing in the Wild West. Nico, what do you think?
I mean, if this team was in the East, it'd be a totally different ball game. They'd probably be a comfortable 6th seed. They wouldn't have fired Mike Brown. Look, I'm okay with firing a bad coach. Mike Brown was a good coach. Mike Brown can't go out there and play defense. That's up to Malik Monk, up to Keegan Murray, up to De'Aaron Fox, Sabonis, any of them. Like, I watched the game right after when Doug Christie was coaching them. I think it was against the Lakers.
Correct.
They're just not good enough in this conference, sadly. I think Fox, like what Sam hit on very well, he's the man. He's on the poster. He's got the keys. He's Dame in Portland, and he has to ask himself, do I want to be the man and make all this money and have the love, or do I want to go and compete? I don't know who trades for him, because you can't trade him to a team in the West. It's going to kill you 4 times a year.
I know you wanted to speak about somebody else being traded to the Rockets, but before we get there, I actually thought, as much as I love Fred VanVleet and as much as I think he gives the Rockets a different kind of element, a championship experience, I would have gone out there and tried to get De'Aaron Fox if I was Houston. I think he brings a different kind of element to that team. He's a one-man fast break, even though Jalen Green is kind of the same thing, and I think that would have elevated the Rockets a little bit more. What do you think?
I don't see him going to the West anywhere. If they're going to trade him, they're going to trade him to the East. Like Nico said, they're not going to trade him anywhere in the West, and they're not just going to send him somewhere where he's going to win a championship. I don't see that happening. I think the signing. What did they sign DeRozan, or they traded for DeRozan?
They traded for DeRozan. Oh no, they signed him as a free agent. Sorry,
They did. I don't think that was a good sign. I just don't think he fits that style of play. They were up and down tempo, shot a lot of threes, and then you bring in somebody that doesn't like to shoot threes, and he's not a up tempo personnel.
So I'll fight back with you on that one. I think for him, it was a stupid move. Not stupid. I mean, you never know what someone's priorities are. But again, as a fan, you want to see players try and go get a championship. So for me, looking at DeRozan's career, looking at him, living in LeBronto for so long and getting bounced by LeBron for his entire career, you want him to go challenge for a championship. He's a great player with a solid career. I would have liked for him to go somewhere like LA, somewhere where he might have more of a chance. But for the Kings, I actually think every time you have an up and down team like that, you want someone who can slow the pace down a little bit, go get a mid-range bucket in crunch time, go hit a big shot when people are kind of out of control all the time. So I think I understand why the Kings would seek him out, but I don't understand why he, at this point in his career, would go there. And I do agree with it. Overall, it's not really a good mix.
Yeah, I jumping on that, I just think that was a really young team for him to jump on. He should have gone to like a Lakers or even a Clippers, someone where it's older guys, they know how to go, they know how to practice well. The Kings, it's transition. They play like Kentucky plays college basketball. Like Monk and Fox are just going at people. DeRozan is a bit of a ball stopper. Like a Randall, like on the Timberwolves, and we're seeing.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let's not disrespect DeRozan like that. You know, I hate Julius Randle's basketball.
I know, but DeRozan's older though now. We're seeing
But DeRozan takes, I know we're getting off topic, but we're going to let this flow. DeRozan at least takes good shots. Julius Randle takes the worst shots in the history of the NBA. That's my genuine personal opinion. Look how much worse the Wolves are. The guy is very talented, and I know he works hard, not just from Instagram, just from people around the league that I know. But his basketball IQ is akin to someone who's literally never played the game before. He's actually, I don't want to use the word a cancer, but I don't think he'll ever make any team better, honestly.
Yeah, he's like peak Westbrook in the clutch when Westbrook would just make weird decisions.
Who would have ever thought that the Knicks will actually pull a fast one and pull a great move just like that and get rid of him and get Towns?
I gotta put up my hands. I think at the beginning of this, when we did our first internal episode, I said that I thought both teams would win. That turned out to be one of the stupidest things I've ever said in my life because, but it's shocking. I don't know why I ever thought Julius Randle would contribute to a team, especially when you have a team like the Wolves that needed someone to come in and play some defense and also provide some spacing and move the fucking ball and not take the ball out of Anthony Edwards' hands. Now they're sitting, I think, one game above 500. So, and we'll get to teams in the West. Nico, I know you wanted to speak a little bit about potential trade scenarios for Jimmy, so I'm going to let you start. Where do you think Jimmy goes? Because obviously his time in Miami is done.
So I actually disagree with the second part. I think Jimmy's going to do a little U-turn when he realizes nobody's going to be able to take on his money unless the Rockets go all in. And I've got like a little trade package for the Rockets. It's Dylan Brooks, Cam Whitmore, and Jabari for Jimmy. Straight up.
Wow.
Do you do that?
So
you get a closer, but you get Jimmy's on I think 52 million next year. So a lot of money.
Can I ask you a question, Nico? Why are the Rockets doing this? Are they a championship contender if they pull that move?
The Rockets, to me, look like a tougher OKC, but slightly less talented because they don't have an MVP closer. And Jimmy in the playoffs, I think, can simulate a top 5 guy at times.
But
is this Rockets team, Sam, to interrupt you, so this is on the same point. Yeah. Is this Rockets team with that trade done better than the Miami teams that Jimmy took to the finals? Forget the fact that he's in the East and it was a little bit easier.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Why? Jalen Green is better than any player Jimmy had on any of those Miami teams, and I think Alperen
disagree.
Şengün is too.
Except for Adebayo. I think Adebayo had a very good 2020 finals when they went up against
true.
the Lakers.
That's true.
Besides him, I think everyone is.
I agree.
They're younger.
Yeah, actually, that Miami Heat didn't even have Tyler Hero. He was hurt during that time.
Exactly.
So actually, Houston is a better team. But are they still a championship team? Are they beating Oklahoma? Are they beating Denver Nuggets? Are they
Well,
beating?
we all said that their hot start to the league to the season wouldn't last this long, and here they are sitting at second, above Memphis, LA, Clippers, Suns, above all these teams that we thought were going to be ahead of them. So, and by the way, Ime Udoka, I mean, give the man his flowers. He's also an excellent coach. So while I agree with you that I wouldn't think that they're a championship team, I think bringing Jimmy Butler in does give them a kind of edge.
My only concern with Jimmy is that Udoka told Harden, when Harden wanted to come to the Rockets,
Yeah.
Udoka told him, we're not there yet. We're not ready. We're years away, which was, I think, leave me the fuck alone, you know? And
True.
these kids, I'm trying to teach them how to play the right way, not like how to like have their jersey in the rafters of a strip club, you know, like, you know? And I just don't know if Jimmy is going to take to Tari Eason and Amen Thompson and all these dogs. Like, either Jimmy's going to totally buy in, or he could be a little bit of a...
So here's the thing.
That mean you're going to have to pay him after this year. And are you paying him? Are you going to pay him a 3-year 170?
Oh, it's so much money for Jimmy.
No, it's funny because so Jalen Green and Alperen both signed extensions, but not the kind of rookie extensions that we're seeing around the league. So the Rockets do have, I think, a little bit of cap space to play with.
But are you going to pay an older guy for another 3 years?
No, but I will say I think Nico. I mean, I'm not as funny as Nico, but I think you are right in that his message to Harden was more specifically about Harden. I think even though we've seen Jimmy come in and be aggressive and trying to stamp his way on things, like in Minnesota. I think he'd come to Houston and be a really good example for the younger players because there's a lot of dogs in Houston, right? Tari Eason's a fucking dog. Like, if you keep Cam Whitworth, they're all dogs, right? So part of me is like that system would work, but at the same time, I do think that 3 years, Jimmy Butler, it's not worth it in the long term.
Me neither.
But Cam Whitmore's not happy. We've seen those videos, all right? All of us have seen that. So that's another thing. You don't want to keep anyone that gives it any kind of indication of causing some stress in the locker room. And for Cam Whitmore to be kind of showing attitude like that at the end of the Wizards game, you start to worry that there might be some negative energy coming into the system.
I think Jimmy will stay with the Heat for the rest of the season.
That's crazy. All right.
Even if he doesn't play another game.
Yeah.
You know, Pat is not going to get rid of him for nothing.
Yeah, and you know Jimmy's petty.
Exactly.
He'll go make coffee. He'll be happy.
Nobody's pettier than Pat Riley. Man.
Exactly.
Nobody's pettier. Pat Riley will be like, "I'll get rid of LeBron." You know what I mean? He doesn't even care.
I mean, you see how fast he suspended him for 7 games, just like that. He was like, "You're out."
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't care.
Do we like the Jimmy going to Golden State and all the old guys just giving it one last run?
No, but I actually think that's a good segue into our Western Conference segment. So Golden State struggling, Steph Curry frustrated, Steve Kerr talking about it. Do we think they can turn it around? And aside from Jimmy, is there a trade they can make that can help them become a bit more of a playoff threat? Or is this kind of the end of Steph Curry, Draymond Green?
My honest opinion, I don't see it going anywhere. And I don't see them. Who are they going to trade? Kuminga? He's the only trade piece that they have. And who are they?
Are they underutilizing him?
No, he's had some big games. He had some 30-point games. He's getting his 28 to 30 minutes a game. He's playing. Remember, they put Draymond Green was coming off the bench and he was starting.
Yeah, Kuminga, I can't tell. Kuminga's like a hypothetical player where I'm like, would he be way better on a bad team where they give him, 30 shots a night?
Jordan Poole.
Yeah, Jordan Poole. Or, I think with Golden State, their only options are maybe they could trade for Markkanen because the Jazz, like, why do the Jazz need Markkanen? He's a great player. Or do we just tank this year, try and get Flag, try and get Ace Bailey, try and get a big, and then next season we've got Curry, Flag, Kuminga, Wiggins, Green. We've got a lot of like pretty long players. I don't see the move. I don't know what they can do in a West like this. They're pretty limited. Even the Clay move, I'm like, they kind of miss Clay a little bit. And
But again, at the beginning of our segments, we were talking about how good they looked, and everyone was saying the Buddy Hield experiment worked. So is it tired legs? Are they just old? I mean, Steph Curry single-handedly took USA to the championship in the Olympics over summer, so I still think he's got something left in the tank. And
what do you think of the Schroeder trade? Did they really need a Schroeder on that team?
I agree. I thought that was whack.
Yeah, that was weird.
Why'd you waste the trade? Like, what is
Dennis Schroeder, by the way, shout out, amazing player. Seems like a great guy, but arguably made the dumbest decision in sports history when he turned down like 4 year, $84 million, ended up signing for like $2 million for a 1 year contract.
But come on the podcast. Come on the pod.
He definitely won't now. Okay, that's Golden State done. I want to give flowers to someone that I think, I'm not sure how they'll do in the playoffs, but James Harden's been balling. And after all the shit he got for being lazy, for Nico's obvious strip club references, the guys led the Clippers without Kawhi Leonard for most of the season. They look like they're going to make a solid playoff push. How do we feel about the Clippers' playoff chances now? And it's funny that once Paul George leaves, they seem to be doing a little bit better.
Oh, Paul George.
Go ahead, Nico. I'll let you start on that one.
I mean, firstly, I feel bad for Paul George catching a stray because, he's such a talented player, but no guy makes it harder on himself than Paul George. With, the things he says in the media when he's like, I'm bored playing center, and then he's, getting dunked on, and then everyone's like, are you bored now, Unk?
Let's not forget, he's the same guy that once referenced his prior season as his MVP season because he finished in the top 5. You can't do that. You didn't win MVP, dude.
Also, you can't nickname yourself in the media Playoff P and
stick to Podcast P.
But I'm sure he's a good guy, Podcast P. But Harden on the Clippers, what he's been doing is super impressive. I'm a big Ty Lue guy because obviously I'm a big LeBron fan, so I've just watched him coach, extensively. I think that team is playing for each other. Zubac is such a good body.
He's such a good player.
I still remember the Lakers trading Zubac for Mike Muscala, which is
remember that? Oh my gosh, that was Magic Johnson, right? That was Magic Johnson.
Magic Johnson. I know. Ran out of magic for that trade, but although I do like Magic, come on the podcast. But the Lakers, what the Lakers need now is a big 5-man, and Zubac would be perfect. So Zubac, Norman Powell is just playing out of his skin, he's playing like he's in.
This is proof of how good the NBA is, that if you just give a guy a chance who's number 9, number 10 on the roster, he can probably go get buckets, dude. Norman Powell's been in and around the league for a long time, but now he's getting some significant burn, and now he's just cooking. It's crazy. The NBA is such a good level of basketball these days.
Top shot maker. I think the Clippers, what are they? I think they're the 7th seed. I don't see them going to finish higher than that. I think for them, they're going to be a play-in team, maybe 7, 8. But that's such an achievement, especially.
So if the Clippers finish 7 and Houston stays 2, who wins that series in 7?
Is Kawhi playing or not playing?
Kawhi's playing.
Oh, wait. If Kawhi playing is a totally
I'm going to give it to the
different.
Clippers. Yeah, it's a different ball game.
I mean, if Kawhi's playing and Kawhi's healthy, he's top 5 guy in the league. And the Rockets, it's their first time at the dance, so. I don't know.
But that's a lot of ifs, dude.
Yeah, it's a lot of ifs.
We don't do ifs, ands, or buts. We do absolutes.
You're right. If Kawhi is not playing, I could see the Rockets beating them in 5 or 6.
I agree. Harden will have one game where he drops 60 at Toyota Center, but that's about it.
I agree.
I think it's really impressive what the Clippers have done. I think it's one of the more underrated storylines in the league. Everyone was coming in thinking that they were a dead man walking. And, even what Ballmer's done with that arena, it just looks like that's starting to become a bit of a prestige franchise quietly.
I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, Harden's averaged almost 22 points and 8 assists a game. That's pretty impressive for that team. Those are great numbers for him.
Okay, let's switch. Go ahead, Sam.
Especially everybody was saying he was on a decline.
Yeah, I know he's and I mean I think he's definitely a shoe-in to be an all-star this year.
But he's definitely not beating Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
No,
I actually don't have him as an all-star this year. But
wow. Okay. Well, I don't want to jump the gun there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Let's switch to the other side of LA. We have spent a lot of time speaking of the Lakers, so I don't want to spend too much time on them. But I think I'm starting to come to terms with the fact that LeBron's not going to win another ring. It doesn't look like they have enough. I still think JJ's a good coach. I still think maybe a trade or two could change my perspective. But this team right now, I don't think has enough to go all the way. I think Dalton still needs some time to get to the player we would want him to be at this level in his career to help out the Lakers. I think, again, bringing in a Jimmy Butler might make a difference, but For me personally, I don't think they're going to make it that far in the playoffs. What do you guys think?
I don't see them going anywhere. It's the same old team that we've been seeing the past 3 years. Nothing has changed other than the head coach. I don't see them getting out of probably at best second round in the playoffs. At best.
I'm actually I'm weirdly a lot more optimistic. I think the Lakers, if they hit a stride, can get out of the West because I think JJ is going to be a great coach for a long time. I think we've already seen he's elevated the team.
You said long time, not right now though.
No, no, but he's getting better. Sometimes his rotations aren't great, but he's getting better. The Dorian Finney-Smith trade, I like a lot. He's a tough role player. I watched him a lot because I'm a big Luka guy. When he was playing with Luka, he even said, I played with Luka. I know how to play with LeBron. I go in the corner. I do my job, and we love that. We love an NBA player that knows his role. He's a stud. Shake Milton's not going to move the needle. He's a
true
man. The Lakers
That's why I think they're still a trade away.
Yeah, the Lakers need to trade for a big, and I think it's Walker Kessler on the Utah Jazz. But sadly, the Jazz are ran by Danny Ainge, notorious Celtic, who hates the Lakers. I just want Walker Kessler.
Shout out crew, old teammate of
I
mine.
want a boring 7-foot white guy to sit in the rim and protect the paint. You know what I mean? That's all I want. And I think if the Lakers get a big, there's no one in the West that scares me that much because the experienced teams feel like they haven't got enough. Warriors, Clippers, Suns, and the young teams, they haven't done it before. So, I mean, Shea, is having an MVP year, but
we'll get to OKC. But if the Lakers get Walker Kessler and the Suns get Jimmy Butler and they meet in the playoffs, who wins in a 7-game series? Because right now the odds, the bookies have Jimmy going to Phoenix as the highest odds.
I don't see Phoenix beating anybody, to be honest with you.
I agree.
I'm not impressed.
Even with Jimmy Butler?
Even with Jimmy Butler.
I agree.
Wow.
Something is off.
Yeah. I feel
Can
bad.
we have a little? Tell me more. Why? What is it? Is it chemistry? Is it D Book not being good enough to lead a team? Do they even know whose team it really is? Who's the man on that team? Is it KD? Is it D Book? What do you guys think?
I mean, you can see how much the coach is doing, but he's trying to experiment a lot of different rosters right now. But they are struggling against below 500 teams. Even with KD, even with Booker having big games, they're still struggling. Last night they struggled against the Hornets, and they were playing at home, and they barely were able to squeeze that one out. There's a struggle to every game, and it's tough. You can't win in the NBA that way.
Okay.
That's facts. You can't struggle against the Hornets at home and think you're gonna have a season. Also,
I don't know. LaMelo Ball just probably popping his brother's song in the locker room before the game, so I think everyone's hyped up there in Charlotte.
what? Swerve around the corner. Whoa.
Dude, LeVar Ball's 3 for 3. Try to tell us all. The guy saw it coming.
I mean, let's stay mellow. But
They are in 13th place in the East, by the way. So
I know.
In the East.
in the East, 13 out of 15 teams. But I think the Suns also, Vogel's a decent coach, but he's a defensive coach. You're going to have a defensive coach for a team that's made like you're playing at the park, like just 3 scorers. I feel bad for Booker because I used to really hate him for no reason. I just didn't like his vibe. And then the Olympics, I was like, no, this is actually a really talented
I respected him a lot after the Olympics.
playing his role as well.
Yeah.
A guy that's the face of his franchise. I'm going to come in. I'm going to play my role. I don't care. That team just doesn't have enough. It just doesn't have enough. It just doesn't have enough.
But isn't it crazy that we're saying a
didn't
team
have
with
a
Devin
bench.
Booker and Kevin Durant doesn't have enough? That sounds like a bit of a ridiculous statement. I agree with it.
Yeah.
But it's a ridiculous thing to say. And Bradley Beal, by the way. Sorry.
It's not the 2000s though. You need 8 guys.
Yep.
You need 7 guys. You need
Okay, on that note, then the last team in the West I want to speak about is OKC. Still top of the West, no Chet. How good can this team be? Sam, go ahead and kick us off.
I think this team is scary, man. This team is good. And I'm not going to call them young anymore. Last year, they were young. I think this year they're hungry. And then they know what they're all about. They know their identity. And it's crazy. Last night I had dinner with one of the imports that we have named Mike Frazier. So he played for Florida, University of Florida. And at the time, the Oklahoma City coach was their assistant coach. And he was telling me how he's a genius. The dude has a great mind on him. And he was telling me he was like the last assistant coach on that team. And literally Oklahoma G League team snatched him and hired him as the head coach of their G League team just because of his mind. So he spoke so highly of him. So saying that, I just see them. They're playing with that swag. They're not playing young anymore. You know what I mean? And then picking up Isaiah from the Knicks, that was a huge
Hartenstein
pickup.
was a big pick. And Caruso.
Huge. And Caruso. You know what I mean? So that's a huge pickup.
That's my actual NBA double dinger, by the way. Fuck the Jameer Nelson shout.
Caruso?
Of course, dude.
No, man.
No, but I really see him going deep in the playoffs this year. I really do.
What I like about this team, so number one, I'm sure we've all seen it, that interview where Shea is just like, man, I'm just hooping. Like, that shows you what kind of confidence and aura he has. Every team needs a superstar, a bona fide bucket getter. I don't want to take credit for this quote, but I heard something about Shea, which I think is so accurate. He's mastered the art of scoring. The guy is a guaranteed bona fide fucking bucket getter. First quarter, fourth quarter, doesn't matter. Second of all, I also think they really embrace who they are. I think this whole post-game interview thing where they're all together, like, again, I don't love it. I'm more like old school. I like to see, like, focus and stone face and everything. But they just kind of own who they are. They own being young. They own being fun. And they're like, what, 30-4 at the moment? I mean, the proof is in the pudding as well. Nico, what do you think?
They're crazy. I mean, we could be looking at a 60-win team in the West, which is nuts. I mean, Shea, he plays basketball like he's got AirPods in.
Seriously.
It's like he doesn't see anybody. He's just, great players. They just get to their spots and they don't even see their defender.
It makes it look effortless.
Yeah.
It makes it look effortless. I think he should win the MVP, personally, because I think it's important to reward seeding because we're rewarding winning. And he'd be the first guard to win it since Harden, which is like 8 years ago. It's just been
crazy.
European guys.
Yeah.
And that's another year where a non-American wins it if he wins it this year.
Well, Embiid claims he's American, so he won it,
If Embiid's American, then I'm American.
But look, OKC, their coach, like Sam said, is a maestro. They've got the talent. They brought in the toughness with Hartenstein and Caruso.
Is J-Dub a good enough number 2 to win a championship as well?
But I think is Chet not going to be back for the playoffs?
That's true. That's true.
He's
Chet's
gonna
the
be
number
back.
2.
He should be back.
That's the number 2.
J-Dub.
I think they're actually letting Chet take his time, by the way, because they realize they're still winning without him.
J-Dub's playing well. And here's a fun fact. Thunders have the best point differential in NBA history this year. Can you imagine? In NBA history, it is at plus 12.7.
That's insane.
They're killing guys. I mean, J-Dub, I love J-Dub. He reminds me of the Harden of the OKC era. We've spoken about this.
Right.
That guy who can just get you a bucket. I mean, you saw that move where he just left the guy. They've got enough. It's just until a team has gotten there, you're always a little bit.
Exactly. It's like Denver before Denver got there. So my call that I'll say, honestly, is that they're going to lose in 7 in the Western Conference Finals, and next year they get to an NBA Finals.
To who?
This year, I feel like
who are they losing to? Houston
That's
Rockets?
the thing. It's to who? Wow.
No, I'd love to see that happen. I don't think. First of all, what I've noticed about the Rockets, and I mean, a bit off topic, we'll get to the East in a second. What I've noticed about the Rockets is, and this is what the mark of great teams, they beat bad teams. And that's a huge step up. The Rockets beat bad teams all the time. They cook the Wizards. They cook teams like that.
Right.
And they beat decent teams. They beat Memphis. They beat teams like that.
They
The
beat
Rockets
the
are
Lakers.
still getting – and they beat the Lakers. The Rockets are still getting cooked by OKC and by the Celtics and teams like that. So, and I think they got cooked by the Cavs as well. So I think the Rockets still have another level they have to unlock to even be in that conversation. I do think they could win one playoff series. Don't think they'll win more than 2. If I had to guess who would beat OKC – in a Western Conference Finals, I mean, I would hope it to be the Lakers. I want to see LeBron win one more. I don't know what's going to happen in the Wild West. I also don't want to make a crazy claim, but I just have a feeling someone will beat them in 7.
What about Memphis?
I think
not good enough.
I think we're forgetting about my NBA comp. What about Luka when Luka's back?
Exactly.
And Kyrie. Both of them.
I can't believe we're going to let that slide, by the way. We just let a guy who's never played basketball say his NBA comp was Luka.
I meant visually.
Okay.
But I would love an OKC Rockets 7-game series. That'd be amazing.
Oof.
OKC Rockets or OKC Mavs?
No, OKC Rockets.
Rockets,
just like two young teams. I think they would, there'd be like a brawl every game. They'd be going at each other. I mean, we've seen that Amen Thompson doesn't take shit.
Yeah.
Dude, for LeBron James and Steven Adams, both of whom have played with Russell Westbrook, Steven Adams who's played with John Morant, for them both to say that he's the most athletic player they've ever seen is fucking crazy.
And
Those twins are insane.
man, Cade said they're not like us. They're aliens.
They're not like us. They actually are. The way he moves, it's not even about how high he jumps. Like, Amen Thompson gets from Goes down the court 90 feet in 2 dribbles
It's
in 2 seconds.
unbelievable, man.
He's
Unbelievable.
the fastest player in the league. It's him or Fox is the fastest from line to line player in the league.
Okay, quickly before we go to the East, sorry. Nico, who's your Western Conference final pick from now?
My Western Conference final pick. I'm going Mavs Lakers. I'm going totally
Wow.
left.
Sam.
Yeah.
OKC and Denver Nuggets.
Wow.
Ooh.
I'm saying OKC and Dallas, but love how we all have. Oh no, you didn't even say OKC, Nico. That's crazy.
No.
Okay, to the East, the Cavs are still cooking. They're also, I
Cavs.
believe, 30-4.
They're
Is
the
this?
Remember, they beat OKC I think a week
They
ago.
did.
They manhandled them.
They did.
I like the
So
Cavs as well. Like as
yeah.
players, they all seem
So
very
here's
nice.
the thing. They're a bit older. Donovan Mitchell, while maybe isn't quote unquote as good or as much of an MVP as Shea, is definitely more experienced. I think Evan Mobley is 2-3 times the player that Chet is. He has a lot more in terms of
Wow.
all around. He's got a lot more in terms of all around game. Evan Mobley, by the way, like he doesn't show his offensive package very much, but he's fucking incredible. That guy
I love
does
Mobley,
everything.
but 3 times the player. It's crazy.
Chet can't stay healthy, dude. Mobley has more meat on his body. He's played NBA seasons. I think longevity and health you have to take that in consideration when you're talking about NBA players or any sport. Anyway, so my opinion is actually they are a bit of a better team in my opinion, but for some reason I also still feel like they don't have I can't imagine this Cleveland team in an NBA Finals.
Didn't they
Sam?
beat Boston twice already this year? I know
They
they
have.
just beat them the other.
They beat him at least once. I don't know about twice. They beat him at least once.
I wasn't convinced early on when we were doing our internal, but as of late, I'm starting to be a believer. They're coming together, and they have identity, and they're playing well. And when they go up against the teams that we think that better than them, they're beating them. They beat in OKC, they beat in Boston, they beat in the Knicks. I mean, they beat in the Lakers. They went on that West Coast trip, won 4 games. I mean, what else do we want out of them? You know what I mean? They killed Denver. I think they scored 149 to 132 in Denver.
But I'm still hearing in your voice that you don't think they're going to make an NBA Finals.
I really believe it's going to be between them 3, between the Cavs, Boston, and the Knicks. Nobody else should be in that category other than them 3.
You're sleeping on Giannis, man. You're sleeping on
Oh
Giannis.
yeah. Oh, well,
They're coming together with all due respect. I love what Doc has done to the team, and I love the turnaround. I love they won the in-season tournament. They're not the Cavs or the Knicks or Boston. No.
It's funny. I want to let Nico speak. I will give you. I don't agree with you, but I would understand why you put the Cavs and the Celtics in a tier above the rest. But I just still am not a believer of the Knicks. I can't see Karl Anthony Towns raising an NBA trophy. I can't. I visually can't see it.
The Cavs
I can.
just won 12 in a row. They just had their streak broken last night. They just won 12 in a row.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They,
Nico, your thoughts on the Cavs, and then again in the East in general.
the Cavs, I think, are the real deal. But for them to get to the finals, they have to finish with the first seed. They have to. They need to avoid the Celtics as long as possible, and they need the Celtics to play the Knicks because the Knicks will beat the Celtics up for at least that. If the Knicks play the Celtics, that's going to go 7 or 6. You know, you're not going to come to.
But even if it goes 6, it's going to be a tough 6. You know.
top 6, you're going to get beaten up. You know, those Knicks players are going to beat you up, which is amazing because you want the Celtics coming in a little bit, broken, and then you got Mobley, you got Allen, you got size. Because the issue with the Celtics and the Cavs matchup is who guards Brown and Tatum. Is it Mobley? Because they haven't got great guys to guard, sort of 3s and 4s.
Right.
Mobley's the kind of guy that I would be happy if he switches on off a pick and roll into my guard, but I wouldn't put him there for 48 minutes.
Right.
And that's where I agree. Is Carius LeVert their best guard defender?
I think it's Isaac Okoro.
Oh
but
God, that
again,
guy to
like,
me.
it's gonna be a shootout. So you need.
That guy called himself the Harden stopper and literally has not been seen since.
That's a crazy thing to say out loud.
Crazy thing to say.
Yeah, we've
I
got to
think
make podcasts. Yeah,
Dean Wade is a pretty good defender on that team as well.
yeah. Dean Wade's a good player. I mean, they've got Strus as well, who can.
But also, don't forget, it goes both ways. So Jaylen Brown's a good defender and Tatum's pretty decent. But like Darius Garland has one of the deepest bags in the NBA. He's tough to
He's so
guard.
quick.
I know,
Oh
but
my
who's
gosh.
guarding him? Drew? We got Drew on
Oh,
him.
that's true.
Who's
That's
guarding
true.
Mitchell? White?
Jalen
We got
Brown.
Derek White.
Oh no, White
Welcome to
probably.
the welcome to the white penitentiary. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that's his nickname, but welcome to the holiday. No, but
The
I
Holiday
would
Inn.
like to see. I really like that Cleveland team. I like the way the way they play the game. You know, whenever
Yeah,
I
me
see them on
too.
TV, I watch the whole game.
Me too.
You know, I hate the Celtics. I'd love to see them knock out the Celtics, but the
Me too.
Celtics are probably a bit more talented, a bit better coached right now. As much as I like Atkinson, Mazzulla is nuts.
Missoula's a basketball god. Can we just?
He's
And
like a
he's actually like a
Guardiola.
philosophical god. He is Guardiola. Yeah,
Yeah, he's
mind
like a
games, eloquence, a very deep understanding and combination of life and sport. He's crazy.
Yeah, Thibodeau is like Sean Dyche. You know, he's like, you will play till you break. You know,
He's playing his 5 guys the whole playoffs with no subs.
It's
no
crazy.
sense.
It's
No sense.
crazy.
But you know that works. You know, the East is going to be fun to watch. I agree with Sam that there is a bit of a tier A, and then the Bucks are in sort of tier B, and then there's a lot of C's. But you know, because you can't count out Yanni, because Yanni to me is a top 3 player. You know, he's
Isn't he third in the MVP voting right now?
Is
Yeah,
he?
he's third. He's
wow.
I think it's Shea, Jokic,
Jay Jokic, him. Yeah,
and I think Wemby is like 4th, which is crazy.
it's crazy. Yeah, we haven't even spoken about him. We'll speak about him
I
next
know
time.
we
But
haven't spoken about Wemby, but it's fine. We'll speak about Wemby for a long time to come.
Can you imagine if Jimmy Butler goes to the Spurs with Wemby and Chris Paul?
that was one of the options. But what I read is that the only 3 teams that are possible now are LA, Phoenix, and I think the third one was the Spurs. But again, I don't think that gets them over the hump. I mean, combined age of Chris Paul and Jimmy Butler becomes 80. Like no way these guys get to the NBA Finals.
Do you think Jimmy? Because if we're kind of like we're talking about Fox and Butler, why don't we combine the package? Do you think Jimmy would let them send Hero for Fox? Because you could send Hero, Jovic, and maybe a pick, and you could get Fox.
It's not
You've
enough. It's not enough.
No. I mean, if you give them a lot of picks, then you've got Fox, Butler, Adebayo. Is that enough?
Ooh.
I don't hate that.
No, I'm saying it's not enough for Miami to get to the. I still think Boston. I still think even the Knicks, even Gianni. I think they're better. I don't think that would be enough.
What's crazy is Miami's sitting in tied in 6th place right now.
Are they even above 500?
They're 20 and 17.
Okay.
Wow.
And where's Detroit? This is a good segue. I want to speak about Kid Cunningham a little bit.
Detroit is 20 and 19.
Wow.
They're
I mean,
sitting
Nico,
in 8th. They're sitting
Nico,
in
you
8th.
deserve your flowers. You called this early in the year that they are a solid team. Cade Cunningham looks like a really, really solid shout for a future MVP candidate. Do these guys? I think if they finish in the 8th seed, not to play the Cavs, no, and the Celtics, no. But if they finish in a cheeky 6th seed, could they take, Milwaukee or Knicks to 7?
I don't think to 7. You know, Cade Cunningham to me is like my generation's Darren Williams. You know, that's kind of what I'm seeing a little bit.
Wow.
You know, like just the way he plays the game, how shifty he is.
He is fucking shifty, by the way.
Shifty.
He moves. And Darren Williams is a very good shout for those who know, because Darren Williams was like,
Oh, man.
I mean,
one of
he
my
could
favorite
yam on you, but
players.
he could cross people up like there was no. Yeah, he was crazy.
He was
I saw
nasty.
someone on Twitter say Cade Cunningham plays ethical hoops, which is like he doesn't spam threes. He goes to the bucket mid range.
I don't know if that's a compliment or not.
But it was sad because Ivy, we thought Ivy broke his leg, but thankfully he broke his fibula, which is the shin bone, which is only like 6 weeks. So that's a great. Maybe he could come back and play a little bit. I don't think they're going to give anyone too much of a hard time. I think what comes out of this season is, okay, Detroit's for real. They're going to get better every year. They got some studs. And Cade's going to make an all-star game. I think that's what comes out of this, personally. for
Okay,
me.
before we go into all-star picks,
Yeah.
give me your Eastern Conference Finals picks now.
I mean, Boston Cavs.
Sam?
Celtics Warriors. Yeah.
Cavs, Knicks.
Oh,
Wow.
I'd love that.
Wow. No, I'm agreeing with.
That's a rematch as well from a couple years ago.
Yeah, I'm going with Nico, Boston, Cleveland, but I would love to see Boston get bounced. I'm not gonna lie.
I'd love it. Nothing
Me
more.
too.
Nothing
Me
more
too.
than
If they repeat, I'm gonna stop watching basketball. Nico, I know you did some work on putting together all-star picks for this year, so we're gonna let you start. Did you pick out full teams, or you have just specific players you want to shout out to?
I picked out full teams. I've got my little list here.
Okay.
And, I don't know. It may leave you guys disgruntled or gruntled. I don't know. But I've got, okay, so this is for the East. This is my starting five. I got Brunson, I got Mitchell, I got Tatum, I got Giannis, and I got Kat. What do we think of that? And then this is on the bench. I got LaMelo, because I think LaMelo, even though he's on a bad team, I think he's been playing well.
Yeah, all-star, I don't think they care, to be honest. They'll bring one or two players from the bottom, yeah. LaMelo's made an all-star game before anyway, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. I think
Yes, he has. Yes, he has.
He might have been a reserve, though. He might have someone got.
He was, but my point is they'll take someone from a shitty team. That's fine. Okay.
So I got LaMelo, I got Cade, I got Jaylen Brown as a forward, Mobley, Hero, and Trae Young.
Hero.
Man, Hero's balling. We got to give him some love.
We do have to give him some love, but
Hero,
but no Dame.
An all-star.
Yeah, I mean, no Dame. That was a snub. That was definitely a snub.
Nobody from Orlando either.
Oh,
Paolo's been injured.
Franz, because they need a forward spot. Because I was looking, the forwards in the East are a little bit scarce. Paolo hasn't played enough games. He'll play like 15 games. Yeah. So maybe Franz, but he's not going to play. I don't think, right? So I don't know if like RJ Barrett or some random like fill-in goes in there.
You're not going to give
No.
What about Allen from the Cavs? You're not going to give him? He's been killing.
I know.
Jared Allen was actually like low-key in MVP discussions for the first 3 weeks of the season.
I mean, that's
by the way,
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Just to give you guys some stats, Tyler Hero is averaging 23.8 points a game, 5.6 rebounds, and 5 assists a game.
24, 5, and 5. That's pretty fucking impressive, actually.
That is impressive.
Wow.
Good call.
Okay, Nico, good shout. Nico, good shout.
Hero.
Okay, and who's your Western Conference picks?
The West is like, it's ruthless.
Oof,
it's ruthless.
It's tough.
I got Shea, because you have to. He's going to win MVP.
Oh, yeah.
Curry, because it's Curry. But it would have been Luka, I think, if he stayed healthy. But I don't think it's going to be Luka.
Oh, this is your starting five. Shea, Shea, Curry.
Shea, Curry, KD, Jokic, Wemby. And then my bench is Edwards, Luka, LeBron, AD, Ja, and it was either Jaren Jackson Jr. or Jalen Williams.
So hold on, no. I mean, you got to give Alperen Sengun the shout then, don't you?
Oh, I didn't have any.
You can't tell me that the number two team in the West isn't going to have an all-star player.
I'll take him over AD, to be honest with you.
Wow.
Really?
Wow.
He's taking a Houston team to the second seed.
Yeah, but I
AD
also think
is going to be such an underrated player generationally.
Yeah, I agree with that. First of all, I fully fucking agree. AD is so underrated. But
who does the Houston Rockets? They don't have King James. He's playing with King James.
No, but Jalen Green's playing really good basketball. And Fred VanVleet's playing really good basketball. No, they are one of the teams that like
they're all not LeBron James.
Yeah, of course not. No, LeBron's the greatest.
But Jalen Green's not an all-star,
He's not. Jalen Green won't make it up. I think he has the talent to, but I think this year he's been streaky and he won't. But you can't tell me the number 2 team in the West is not going to have at least one all-star player. That makes no sense.
I mean, Sengun. Okay, so we're putting maybe Sengun on the bench.
Yeah, of course on the bench. He's not going to start.
Okay.
I think your starters are correct, but I can't imagine LeBron not starting,
You think LeBron starts for KD then?
For KD or for Wemby?
LeBron is starting, guys. LeBron is starting.
Okay,
There's no way
LeBron would start for KD. Man, Jokic and Wemby can't not be there. They're doing crazy stuff.
Oh, for real.
Doing crazy. I think Jokic is averaging like 31.
How does it work now? Is it fans vote first 5
Starters,
and then GMs vote the rest?
Fans vote for the starters, and then coaches I think vote for the reserve.
Okay, if fans vote for the starters, it's LeBron James, it's
Wemby.
Jokic, it's Wemby, it's Curry, and it's Shea.
Yeah.
For sure.
These are
Even though Anthony Edwards is pretty popular too. But they're at 8th.
These are people I didn't include, by the way. I didn't include Harden. I didn't include Kyrie. I didn't include Booker and Jalen Williams. And I didn't include Fox. Wow. I think I might have to include Fox. So the West is so talented.
It's so good.
Man. It's tough.
It's so good.
It's ruthless, and
That's why I believe you should pick the best 24 players.
Yeah.
Forget the East and West, the best.
Wow.
Like,
But
I
also-
really believe it should be that way. Forget the East and West. When it comes down to All-Stars, best 24 players, hands down.
I don't hate that, and I've never heard that before, but I don't hate that. I kind of like it. Like, let's reward the best players in the league.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a merit-based league. It should be at least.
Right.
Very
Right, you know-
interesting.
But by the way, when is Jamal Murray going to stop playing like an All-Star during the season? Nobody ever talks about him.
Westbrook.
Would you rather have? This might sound like a stupid question. Would you rather have Chris Paul's career, where you are lauded as a regular season stud, as a guy that always makes the playoffs, as one of the best in your position ever, but a serial loser in the playoffs? And
That's so
I mean,
brutal.
no, 20 years down the line, the only thing Chris Paul is going to be remembered for is Allstate commercials, okay? Or would you rather have Jamal Murray's career, where you are a bucket getter in the playoffs and you've won a championship and maybe another one?
Can I just make one quick observation about Murray? Murray's never made an All-Star game.
That's why I'm saying that.
No.
Yeah, and he never will. By the way,
He never will.
He never will. I think I'd rather Chris Paul's career. His nickname is Point God.
It
Point
is.
God.
Yeah.
It is.
I'll take
You know?
Chris Paul's career as well.
But Murray turns into Kobe when he plays the Lakers.
Oh my gosh.
He turns into Kobe in the playoffs. Period. That's what I'm saying.
No offense and nothing against my guy Westbrook, but if Westbrook is overplaying you right now, there's an issue. Come on, Jamal Murray, what is going on? Westbrook having a better year than you? There's something going on.
Yeah, but give that man his flowers, because after all the shit he's been through, Westbrook is like the Harry Maguire of the NBA, dude. Constantly ripped in the media, overcomes it, is now having a fucking great season again.
I totally disagree. Westbrook is the epitome of how much are we paying you? How much are you giving us? You know what I mean?
So funny.
On the Nuggets, you're being paid $2.5 million a year, whatever it is. I don't know.
You know where Westbrook needs to go?
Yeah, where?
Just for at least one season. Guess.
At least?
No.
Kuwait.
New Orleans, just
New
so he
Orleans.
can sit next to Zion Williams and get this dude on track. Because Zion Williams, I don't know what's going on with my guy. We need to see him on the court. He needs to stay healthy. He needs to get his eating habits in order. He needs to get whoever's working out with him to get in better shape.
deeper
Something
than
got to
that.
change.
It's deeper than nutrition. You know what I mean? Zion is, when Zion came to his first league game dressed in anime clothes, I knew everything I needed to know about him. You know what I mean? I knew, and then when he started having all his, actress friends show up to the games, I'm like, oh no, we've made a 13-year-old famous. We've given a 13-year-old 300
Okay,
million.
we're getting a little off topic, but actually I think that's a good way to end. This is a team that I think has a lot of assets and a team that I can easily see being blown up in the offseason. CJ McCollum, Zion Williamson, and
What's my guy that got him from? They got him from
DeJounte.
Murray.
so also not
And
even
Murphy.
so I could see
Jones as well. They got
Herb
stars.
Jones. So this is one thing I want to talk about. That's 5 solid players that individually can each go to a championship contending team and make a big difference. Do we think any of those players are going to go before the trade deadline?
Maybe CJ.
Not Brandon Ingram.
No, and Brandon Ingram. Jesus, dude, this team should be a number 3 or 4 seed in the West.
That's
That's
what I
crazy.
mean.
They're cursed. There was a couple years ago where they looked really good, and you're like, every player on the team is really good, from 1 to 15.
And they're so long. They got some athletes on that team. Pause.
I mean, who could use a Brandon Ingram?
I think Brandon Ingram makes most teams he goes to better if his attitude's right and he fits in the right system. Honestly,
I mean, you know what? The Pistons could trade for Ingram. That's not horrible. Bring in Ingram.
Pistons, the Rockets could trade Jabari for Ingram.
Yeah, but you don't want to. I mean, I like the Jabari thing because he's younger. He's on a rookie deal. But it's just, are you going to trade your franchise player to a team in the same conference?
Well, who would you trade? Would you trade Trey Murphy or Brandon Ingram if you're New Orleans?
Maybe Ingram.
Murphy.
You can get more for Ingram.
Yeah.
Murphy's averaging 21 points, guys.
That's crazy.
Because he's a flamethrower from 3, right? He's just
And he's 6'8" long. Brandon Ingram is averaging 22 points.
Okay.
So-
okay. And I mean, I need someone
Crazy to have 2 players averaging 20 to still have CJ, Zion, and DeJounte Murray and to be fucking terrible.
They don't really have Zion. They have Zion like Zion. He like plays every fortnight. You know,
Guys,
like,
they're in last place.
Otherwise,
They're
he's playing
eight-
Fortnite.
They're 8-32. What is going on? That
really
roster.
don't want- I don't want Cooper Flag to end up there, dude. He's gonna be
No,
cursed.
me neither.
Oh,
I don't want anyone to end up there. Like, I don't want Dylan Harper to end up. I don't want Ace Bailey to end up there.
could it be okay? Sorry to go off topic. Could it
Yeah.
be coaching? A coaching change, maybe?
Get Mike Brown. Get Mike Brown.
I think Nico's right. I think they're cursed, dude. Also, I think it's a lot of players that seemingly have a bit of attitude problems, honestly. Not that they're bad guys and maybe not that they don't work hard, but I think a lot of them have ego. CJ definitely doesn't. CJ's a great guy. From everything I've heard from people who know him. A friend of mine went to Lehigh
CJ's
as well and played with
amazing.
him.
CJ
Yeah, so
was
everyone,
president of the
Amazing,
NBA
amazing
Players
dude.
yeah, I know. He's a great guy, and I just think the rest of those guys, whether it's bad attitude, poor approach to the game, lack of discipline, I think it's a combination of a lot of different things that's created a very bad environment in New Orleans. And I think, again, I'd like to see at least 2 or 3 of those guys get traded and get put into better situations.
Look, guys, let's be real. When your best player who is paid the most money is Zion, who, is probably a nice guy, but doesn't train hard, isn't available, why would the other dudes think they need to work that hard?
Yeah, it's true. It does start, like, you want your best players to lead by example.
Yeah, I think what Sam said is actually bang on the money. Get a new coach, get a Udoka, get a general, trade them all, get a bunch of young, hungry, like, lottery picks, and just reset. Like, do what the Rockets are doing, but make it a little bit more. It's not going to be so many blue chip guys. But I would try and trade people and get picks for this draft or the next. Just get some draft capital. That seems to work.
Let's wrap up. I want you guys to give me now at the midway point in the season, give me your MVP, your depoy, and your 6th man of the year.
Go ahead, Nico. I need to think about that one.
I mean,
Definitely
MVP
Shea. I'm gonna give that.
Shea, right?
MVP
I'm
is Shea.
definitely Shea. I gotta give it to him.
Is depoy Wemby? Does he get it?
Probably yeah. Yeah.
I think the fact that Anthony Davis has never won a depoy is one of the most ridiculous things in the world, by the way.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
It just doesn't. I think that. I think that the tough thing about Wemby is like you're going to give him one this year, and he's going to win one next year, and then the year after, it's going to be like a Dwight Howard run. So is this the last year someone maybe a bit more undeserving gets it?
No, but to be honest, like I don't think Rudy should have won it last year. I think the reason they gave it to Rudy last year was because they think Wemby's going to win 5 in a row, and I think that's bullshit. It's the same reason why LeBron doesn't have more than 4 MVPs. Technically speaking, LeBron should have 12.
Which is, by the way, a part of why I think Jokic might not win MVP, because then Jokic will have 4, and 4 is a real statement. But
Narrative plays a big role in the NBA, unfortunately, in any sport, but I think specifically in the NBA.
And it's wrong. It's not right. It should be, like you said, on merit. But you could argue Jokic is having his best statistical year.
For a while, he was having a historical year, actually.
Right? But I think it's going to go to Shea because of seeding. I think DPOY probably Wembanyama, because also I think they're starting to sort of test Wemby as the face of the league. Even though he's a European player, let's just see. Like people seem to really dig him. 6th man of the year. I don't know who 6th man of the year is going to be.
Trying to think, honestly.
I feel like if Rui was moved to the bench for the Lakers, he could actually have a real go at it.
I actually thought Tari Eason would be a decent shot.
I like Tari Eason.
He doesn't do enough, but I think he'll win the 6th man in his career. I don't think he'll ever start on that Rockets team, but I think he'll be a really good glue guy.
I'm trying to think about who puts. Could someone on the Celtics win it? Could Peyton Pritchard win it?
Oh man, he's so good.
He's a flamethrower.
He's so good, dude. He's more than a flamethrower. He can do everything.
He should be a starter on a team. He's kind of like a real poor man's Ginobili for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Interesting.
He's really good.
A bit more defensive though. He can guard 90 feet. He can guard 90 feet. Honestly,
so much. I would say let me say Pritchard because that's the first one that comes to mind. But if a better one comes to mind,
I can't think of any.
right? Who's tearing it up off the bench right
I
now?
really don't know, honestly. Besides like the Terror Twins in Houston, but it meant Thompson.
I mean,
moved the
if
starting lineup because of Jabari's breaking his hand.
if Beal stays coming off the bench and keeps
I don't
balling,
think
keeping up these numbers,
I think there must be a requirement of how many games he's come off the bench. I think he's already played too many games as a starter. The same way Luka is now no longer eligible to be MVP.
Yeah,
They made these rules now.
okay,
I mean,
tough. I don't know.
I don't know. Look, sixth man is something that also like you don't know. People pop up. You know,
Yeah,
it doesn't
true.
seem like this is a Lou Williams, Jamal Crawford type of year where there's
Yeah.
one guy who's.
That's
you know,
true. That's true.
I mean, what about most improved though? Who would that go to? I mean, is
How about the guy from Milwaukee Bucks, Bobby Portis? He could be six man.
Oh
Yeah.
wow,
I like Portis.
Yeah,
I like Portis.
He's also like
He's
feels
the
like
player
part
I'd
of
least want to piss off in my life.
like, well, yeah,
He's got
knocked out
crazy
Mirotic.
eyes, bro. He knocked out Mirotic. Mirotic probably had it coming though.
he's averaging 14 points a game and 8 rebounds.
Man, Bobby Portis is a good role player.
He's a
you know?
great role player.
Right.
You
He's a
know,
great role player.
and he's the leader of that locker room with Dame and with Yanni.
True.
That's true.
Yeah, because every time I follow them on like TikTok and Instagram, he's always with the young guys. They always love Bobby.
Yeah, he's a funny
You need
guy.
people like that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think MVP and DPOY is going to change anytime soon. I think Shea. Do we think the Thunder break 60 wins?
Where they at right now? Let me go back. And
I think both the Thunder and the Cavs are 30-4.
They're
33?
32. They're 32-6 right now.
32-6. Sorry.
Would they break the 60?
I think Thunder break 60. Honestly,
You do.
I think they could break 65. I think they are the.
Whoa.
I think they are the epitome. They are the
65.
epitome of a. It's still 82 games, right?
Yeah, still 82
Yeah.
game, but
So
65.
I think that they're the epitome of a regular season team, honestly. And I think the Cavs could break 60, 62 wins as well.
Yeah, I think the Cavs are going to have to push towards 60 because the Celtics are going to be hot on their heels. I mean, it makes you think about that Warriors team that was 73-9
Crazy, right?
And then lost to the greatest player of all
and
time.
lost. Yeah,
Like right now, the Cavs are sitting 33-5, Boston
Yeah.
28-11.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the one seed in both conferences, unless a colossal fuck up, it's wrapped up. It's gonna be
well,
Cavs.
I think I wrote in my notes. I don't think the 1 to 6 is going to change that much in either conference.
Yeah.
Like the Lakers are the 6th seed. I don't see them finishing below the 6th seed. I think they can hold that door before the play-ins. I don't think much is going to really change, to be honest. I think maybe Memphis could make a run. I'm not scared of Memphis. I don't know
Me neither.
why.
Me neither, yeah.
Just,
Me neither.
they feel like the Utah Jazz of the Gobert and Mitchell era, where it's like, okay, cool, you're winning games, but
It's like Utah Jazz. It's like the Hawks where they had Josh Smith and all those other players, and Joe Johnson and guys like that. Like
Right.
there's just teams that you know aren't going to really do it in the playoffs. But we've crossed our hour mark. That's what we said we'd do for today. Nico, thank you for hopping on. Sam, thanks for your time. I'll see you tomorrow
Yeah,
morning. And we'll hop back on in 2 weeks right before the NBA All-Star Weekend.
yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to see you guys at All-Star Weekend. You're flying me out, right?
We got you.
We're doing courtside interviews with all the All-Stars. Except for
And
Bobby Portis.
next week we talk WNBA. We're going to start doing that.
He's such an addict.
Angel Reese. Okay, bye, guys.
If you made it this far, thank you for watching. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to us on YouTube and all podcasting apps.
And make sure you follow us on all the social media apps. Another one in the books, baby. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.